Greetings for the day. Let's begin today's session on how can we make or how can we convert parents into one of our biggest strength being the teachers. So without wasting any time, I'll start sharing my screen. Now, just that the topic for the today is partners in progress. That is reimagining parent-teacher relationship. And why is it important for us to redefine or reimagine this parent-teacher relationship? Because CBSE also has now made a parenting calendar. And according to that calendar, the CBSE says it's very important for all of us to include parents, one of the most important stakeholders into taking anything, into making any future decisions about the children, or just bring them on the platform, on the same platform where we all are sailing, so that they can understand what an actual pain a teacher has to go through. Let's begin with the next slide. It's a slide which says a little about my achievements. I've been into this teaching for past 21 years, and I've worked at various leadership positions. And also, I have been learning a lot. For me, learning is a never-ending process. And now also, like currently also, I'm pursuing many of the courses. So this is a small description of me. My vision, actually, during COVID, I realized this, that everyone is singing praises for all the people who saved lives of millions, but there was no one who celebrated teacher. So my vision was to celebrate the teacherhood, the celebrate this being teacher. So with that vision and with that mission, the mission of giving all the necessary resources which a teacher needs, working on strengthening the mental health and resilience of a teacher, addressing the silent struggles which a teacher goes through, and also providing them a classroom which is not only compassionate but also thriving. This was the mission which drove me to my vision, and that was opening a wellness center for teachers. And I hope with support of all the educators along, I'll be going a lot, a way ahead. Moving ahead next, why this parent partnership matters? Because at the first place, it's going to improve the students, the student achievement. It reduces conflicts and misunderstandings. It builds trust. Also, it brings collaboration, which is a very important thing. And every effort which we are taking in developing the first three steps help us in making parents our allies, and rather than making them our critics. I'm not saying that we do it on purpose, but at times it happens that teacher and parent, they both are not on the same page, hence conflicts. So these upcoming slides, I have tried to resolve all the conflicts which arise between a teacher and a parent, a solution to all those. Now, what are the common challenges which the teacher face? There are some parents who are always angry. There are some parents who keep on blaming. Then there are over demanding, or then there are parents helicopter parenting, like on simple language, we call them as micromanaging parents. Then there are parents who continuously compare their children with other children. Then there are uninvolved or disinterested parents who are least bothered about what their child is going through. All they want is the result to be produced by the teachers. And they forget that their cooperation is kind of, pivotal in bringing what they want for their child. Now, this slide speaks about some of the commonly heard dialogues, or some, how many kinds of actually difficult parents do we face? Angry parents. Whenever you're facing angry parents, this is just one of the slides. You should be saying, I hear your concern, rather than we say, calm down. Over demanding parent, I can't tell you everything. These are the generic answers which we give. How beautiful it would be. Like, I'll give you weekly updates and say it in an assertive tone so that the parent knows that no matter what, no kind of over demands would be accommodated by this particular teacher. When you find a parent who's comparing, just don't compare your child with someone else's child. Rather say, celebrate your child's unique strengths. Identify what unique strengths your child has. Again, uninvolved parent, you're not doing your job. Obviously, the parent will become angry. And I've seen parents on these scenarios, they kind of say, we are paying fees. So that's my job. I'm doing my job perfectly fine. It's you who's failing in your job. So rather than saying this, if we say, just spare out 5 minutes for your child and see the magic happening. This is just one small slide. Further, I've added details to everything. Now, moving ahead, communication that builds trust. At times, we are, there's no harm in saying, if we say, oh, your child is weak in maths or your child is doing poor in maths. But this is something which hurts the parent, because somewhere that ego comes in, the silent war of ego comes in. So instead of saying, if we say, with extra practice, we can improve on the speed of your child, which he takes in, which he takes more than normal time that children take for solving the sums. And if we practice a little bit, some help will be provided by me, some help you provide, and then we'll see a great improvement in your child. Then again, just instead of passing any sentence which kind of sounds authoritative to the parent, we just have to be assertive in our tone, and just find out a small 5 or 10 minutes routine where you can sit and read with your child, or can be just present around with your child, understanding how did the day go. This little communication tip. Now, practical toolkit for teachers, because as I said, the previous slides were just the glimpses of what problems do the teachers face when we come across different kinds of parents. Now, here are 5 templates which I have devised for all of you, which is going to help you people a lot in, solving the issues which the parents bring forth. Talking about difficult parent matrix. This is a chart which says how many kinds of parents at times become overprotective, aggressive, detached, or know-it-all parent. Each slide, like if the parent is overprotective, the parent would be too much worried about the child's mistake. We have seen some parents who take more than extra time in PTM, and they would prefer sitting at the back and then coming back again and waiting for all the parents to go, and then they'll sit with the teacher again and kind of discuss every little detail of that child. First thing first is identify the type of parents of your class. That is very, very important, right? Because being the class teacher of a class, or even being the subject teacher, we know whose parent is of what type. Segregate them. And after segregating them, then work on the strategies. Like we are talking about overprotective parent. What should be your strategy? Reassure them. Show their child's strength to them again and again. And then talk about improvement. Because first thing first, even we as a teacher, whenever we go to our leader's office, and the very first thing, if we hear, oh, you did not do this in this way, you didn't do this good way. But if we hear a little sentence of praise, and then later we get to know, oh, you could have done this that way, the morale boost. And we are, wow, the leader praised me like anything, and hence I can do much better. Talking about aggressive parents, there are a certain parents who will always come in a complaining tone. They have their harsh tone, no matter how much you do for that parent, but the parent is in kind of, oh, I'm going to bring this to the surface level in a very harsh manner. That's the time when we need to stay calm. We have to be active listener. Read between the line. What is that emotion which is reflecting behind that anger? Is it parents' helplessness? Is it child's not performing? That's the frustration which the parent has. Or is it something else which is otherwise bothering the parent? Just try to read that silent. Reading between the lines is what's going to help you. Repeat their concern means rephrase their concern. And when we do rephrasing, no, what we do, we add our own positive elements to this. For example, if a parent comes and says to you, oh, I'm very angry with your school. Your teachers are not paying any attention in ensuring that the revision sessions go through. Now, though we know that we've been trying our level best to get the revisions done thoroughly, but that child is actually getting absent on and off and is not attending those revision sessions. Now, instead of getting angry, what if you stay calm and out of 6 revision classes which you planned, 4 revision classes the child did not turn up. But this, if I'm going to say this, it's going to upset parent the most. Stay calm. Repeat the concern. Oh, I really understand your concern that you are upset about your child's revision schedule being disturbed. But I would request you, in these cases, no, keep a written record ready with you. But I request you, this is the attendance of the of this revision session schedule, wherein out of 6 sessions, I couldn't see your child in 4 sessions. I hope there must be some health problem or some other problem due to which the child missed on. But I'll do one thing. I'll provide you with all the revision worksheets. Now, with this smart communication, what have you done? You have informed the parent that just check, out of 6 revision schedules, your child was absent in 4 revision schedules. You have promised that, yes, there's a problem, but you are ready with the solution. Rather than adding on to the complaint, your job is done. Detached parents, they don't read WhatsApp messages, they don't read the emails sent by you, nothing like that. So in this case, just short and crisp text messages, because they pop up very quickly. A quick note in the diary, so that whenever these parents come come during the PTMs, you have everything. And the most important thing is to have the data handy when you are dealing in PTM with different parent metrics. Then there are a group of parents who come and say, oh, I know it, everyone. And they just try to, kind of check on the teaching style of the teacher. Don't get frustrated at that time. Acknowledge, appreciate them. We all have PIPs, pre-installed psychological need. So here, the pre-installed psychological need of that parent is to be validated. Validate that parent. Celebrate the intelligence which that parent has, but then slowly bring the parent back again to the communication where you want him or her to be focusing about. And that's how a little assertive communication. Here, nothing I've done fancy. What I focused on paraphrasing, and also I have worked on telling you hints, giving you hints. How can communication be the solver of every problem which you have? Moving to the next slide, which says conversation scripts. Here are some examples. In PTMs, generally keep your openings positive. Don't just start with, simply the parent comes in, you just show him, I know there are like 30 parents or 40 parents waiting for you, and you have limited time period. You cannot give the time required by each and every parent. No, you're not required to do that either. You just have to be very, and this can be done only when you are done with your prior homework. Filter out challenging parents. First thing first is filter out all the 4 categories of parents. Just think about what problem the child has, and this will save you time on the PTM. Then with every parent, every child, you will also, kind of align with me that every child has some or the other positive thing to be discussed about. Start your PTM with that positive opening. Then address the concern. Not only addressing the concern, but also telling the solution. When I saw this concern, I came across with this solution. And I would really appreciate if you do some solution at your home also, so that with our collaborative work, we can just remove this problem of Ria getting distracted every now and then. Then again, angry parents, they are those parents which can turn situation completely against you, or by simple assertive communication and by validating their thoughts, you can bring them, you can harness these parents. So bring them into that situation, pull them into that situation with your communication skill and say, oh, whatever, like, let's work together for bringing out what works best for our child, rather than saying your child or what. Then close gracefully. Then when we are closing gracefully, then there are some parents know, okay, just give a suggestion, and then that closing should be, I hope in the next PTM when we'll meet, we'll be meeting up with more of the happy scenarios being discussed. That should be your closing sentence, rather than allowing the parent to be, dragging you into further and further conversation. No, you have to be assertive in your communication when you know that this parent, this particular parent, that depends upon you, that depends upon the PTM timing. Let's say if your school has scheduled 3 hours of PTM, obviously we call the parents according to the roll number, but then those roll numbers also can be accommodated by dividing the time, 5 minutes or 7 minutes, that's the most. Other than that, I'm available. You drop me a WhatsApp message or you drop me a mail, I'll read that mail, and obviously I'll answer back to each and every concern raised by you. This can also be one of the graceful closing. Moving ahead, PTM action plan: concerns, teachers' commitment, and parents' commitment. I have made a list of few concerns which you also see and which the parents also say, like weak in writing, distracted in class, poor reading skill, low confidence in speaking, homework not submitted, poor math skills, low attendance. What should be your commitment? Promise your commitment first, which I've listed over here. You all can take the screenshot of the slide and then ask a commitment from the parent also. Or if parent is not, not able to find out the solution, prepare a commitment from parent which you want. If not this way, that way. Any which ways, what has to be done? The child has to be brought to the right track. So this is my commitment, and this is the commitment which I expect from you. This is what one of the this is one of the most wonderful ways which works: collaboration, right? Now, parent engaging tracker, keep a tracker, write down parent's name, write down attendance, so whether the child has attended the PTM or not. Write down the response time taken by that parent in any situation, be it a WhatsApp message sent by you, be it a mail sent by you, be it a call given by you. How quickly does the parent reply? And then, if you have given or if you have taken some commitment from the parent, you have to take the follow up of that commitment. Whether the child is, a kind of, give them a homework. Okay, each day you are going to invest 10 minutes of reading time with your child. Now, how will you show me that you are investing that time? Prepare a logbook for the parent. Give that logbook. Logbook doesn't mean a fancy book or something. If you all want, I'll share a template with you. So what you can do, you can take a piece of a paper and then write down day, date, topic read, and after topic read, time invested, and the learning outcome. That's all. That weekly track is ready. And after that, based on everything, put a note. Now, this is something which should be kept with you only. And when the session changes, pass it on to the next teacher. There are two types of anecdotal records which we make. One is the anecdotal record which says the complete progress shown by the child during that academic session. And one is this parent anecdotal, which helps the next teacher to understand the parent matrix. And you are also going to receive the parent matrix from the previous teacher. So that already builds in the image of that parent in your mind, and that helps us understanding a lot. But again, remember, this all is possible only when you're good at your homework. Now, quick WhatsApp or email templates before PTM, follow-up reminder, appreciation note, and then all these are like, these are some of the templates which I've prepared. You all can take a screenshot of that and you can work on this accordingly. Remember, come to the pain point, but before coming to the pain point, always appreciate. Starting from appreciation and ending with a discussion of we need to work a little more on it rather than putting that as a problem. Oh, your child has this problem. Obviously, even if someone would come and say this to me, I would be upset. I would not like that. So it's simple. We have to just change our communication style, follow up, general polite reminders, sending to the parent time and again. So this way you're curating your resources. And in that case, like let's say you're doing all your efforts and 6 and 8 months have already passed and the parent is not showing progress from his side, at least you have a bank detail, I mean the bank of that resources ready with you. I sent you these messages, I sent you follow-up reminders, I sent you appreciation note, I sent you everything, but I did not get the response from you. That is the time when the parent has to go into introspection. The parent may not admit in front of us, but yes, surely the parent gets a chance to introspect. Yes, this is fact. The teacher tried his or her level best 10 times, 20 times, but it was me who did not respond. Maybe that will not come that easily. Maybe parent is never going to admit that in front of you, but at least you have shown the parent the true reflection. The key takeaways of today's class: parents are partners and not the problems. And as I said, every word matter. So whatever you're saying, reframe it, paraphrase everything, put up everything positively. PTMs must end with an action plan rather than showing, oh, this is the problem your child is coming up. Then obviously the parent is going to end up saying, I am sending my child for getting solution to these problems and not for hearing that my child has these problems. I'm not saying that all the teachers, all of us, we do that. See, at times it happens knowingly and unknowingly, just because teachers are also pressurized a lot. There is a sky high expectation from the teacher, but then there are a little inputs. But again, remember, we have chosen this profession. So action plan has to be made. Proactive communication prevents conflict. If you are noticing anything, be proactive in communicating that to the child, to the higher authority of your school, and then to your parent, because this is what can prevent conflict. We can see the very first fume itself shows something is set on fire. So before that fire takes explosive form, notice that fume and try to, you curb it then and there only. So thank you very much for attending today's webinar. These are my details. You can message me, you can email me, you can follow me on my social media for more resources and updates. All my YouTube channel, my Instagram page, my LinkedIn, all is with the name of Tailored979. Thank you for having attending today's webinar. Thanks a lot.